Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly and it is lovely to see you today. In this video we're going to be talking about depression flares at Christmas, so grab a cup of tea and let's get to it. So before we start, I want to say happy holidays, whatever that means. I'm not really feeling it this year. I've not felt it for the last few years actually. I've really struggled with Christmas ever since my grandparents passed away, and I do find that my depression will spike a big spike this time of year, especially when the decorations start coming out. I mean, I used to love decorating the house, I used to love Christmas, but without my grandparents it just has lost that sparkle. Do you know what I mean? And I really wanted to just come and talk about that, talk about the fact that so many of us struggle this time of year, and it's okay. Whether you've got a reason for it, like you can't afford to buy all the presents you want to buy, you lost your job, you are feeling isolated, you're going to have to spend it on your own, or if you have no reason, like there's literally no reason, everything's going really great for you and you're having a whale of a time and everyone around you feels like you are the luckiest person in the pile and yet you feel awful. It's okay. Your feelings are valid and it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. And I know society makes out like it's okay if, but not okay if everything's good. I don't believe that. I have chronic depression, but I have quite often had spikes of depression at times when everything around me is going really well and nobody can quite understand where it's coming from, including me. And I wanted to say it's okay that it feels like that, and it's okay to feel that way before I begin. Today I didn't just want to talk about depression, I wanted to give a few ways that I've found that help my depression this time of year. It's so difficult, the weather is absolutely vile, outside it's grey, everything looks grey. England, it doesn't seem to get sunshiny or warm or anything. My bones feel cold, I cannot get warm, and the last thing I want to do is get out of bed, and it all adds up to depression for me, all these feelings. But there are some things that I've found that help, and I wanted to come and talk about those things. So let's get to it, shall we? So the first thing is fresh air. We're quite lucky this lockdown that's just passed. We're not in lockdown now, but I really do hope that you're acting like we're still in lockdown, you know. Plague times being what they are at the moment. I think it was easier in the summer when we had lockdown because people could go out and sunbathe or go in their gardens and do stuff, but it's cold and horrible. Stepping outside though when you're feeling depressed is a really good idea. If you're lucky enough to live somewhere where you've got a park nearby, or a place where you can walk, or you live in the countryside like I do, getting out and going for a little walk really helps. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's amazing. I know that over in Japan they have this thing called forest bathing. It's a whole thing where you are prescribed to go away and spend a day in a forest, and you just go and kind of chill out and take in nature. And it's really, really healing. It's grounding. If you are into spirituality like me, you can get in touch with nature, get grounded in it, get your connection with nature back. And I think a lot of the time in this age of electronics and TV and Netflix and all these things, it's easy to lose that connection. Getting out and having some fresh air, having a little bit of a walk will help. It's also good for our immune systems. We need to get our immune systems really good at the moment because plague. But it's really, really good to get out there. Being in houses that have got central heating and stuff. Being in homes that have got central heating and double glazing and all these things is really good for us, but it's also really bad. It actually doesn't help our immune system at all. And so it's important to get out, get a little bit of cold in your lungs, get out in there. If you can, get out and go for a walk. I try and do that when my husband's off work. I can't go out by myself because I have an anxiety disorder and I'm disabled. I can't leave the house very easily on my own, and so I have to have someone with me. And so my husband and I try and take the dogs out for a little walk when he's off work, and it does help your mental health so much. So if you can get out there, get some fresh air, that is really going to help. The next thing is being creative. Now, I think this is so important. It's a part of us that is kind of lost. Like, we do a lot of creative things when we're children, right? And then when you get to be an adult, sitting and colouring in is kind of frowned on. I've always loved colouring in, and I was so glad when adult colouring became a thing. But I love colouring in, I love painting, I love making these videos, writing in my blog, journaling, I love knitting. I'm just learning to knit. I'm bringing sewing back to the channel because I'm going to be making myself a dress next week. I'm really excited. I love doing these things. It makes me so happy to know that I can just have fun, relax and colour in for a little while, or do a little bit of knitting, listen to an audio book, creating videos for you, creating anything, making Christmas cards maybe, or making your own Christmas decorations. There is so many ways that you can get creative, and with the fact that we have the online space, we can learn so many skills from YouTube, and there's so many people doing like DIYs and crafts on here that you can then learn and do yourself. Being creative is so important, and I definitely will reach out to you and say, I know it feels like something that we shouldn't be doing, but it's part of self-care. Self-care is so important when you are not feeling good and when you're coping with depression. Getting creative is so important, and I really do just say to you, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're doodling on a piece of paper, making Christmas cards, you know, whatever it is, even if it's just colouring in while you watch TV, it's all going to help. So get creative. Another really great way is to relax. Spending time relaxing, taking a day off from whatever stresses or strains or to-do lists that you have going on around you. Having a day off is so important. I think a lot of the time in our society, we're kind of made to feel guilty for resting, for having a day off, for not being involved in things. It's kind of a go kind of society, and it is not good for us at all. It's why a lot of us are struggling with mental health issues, and I think that the moment we relax is really good. Now, relaxing to me will look very different to how it looks to you. For me, it's a blanket, comfortable clothes, Netflix on the TV, and a dog on my lap. But it could be anything to you. Just relaxing, spending a day in bed, watching TV is wonderful. I love that. It has to feel like a treat. It's like, it's got to feel relaxing and cozy and lovely. Really treat yourself. Go to town, buy some popcorn, get some chocolate, sit down and watch a good film. Any kind of self-care like that is gonna feel so good. Self-care, self-care, self-care until you can take it no more, because you are worth it. Cleansing your home, this is a point that I just cannot stress enough. I just can't stress it enough. Cleansing our home is so important, and it's something that I do as part of my spiritual practice. Every day I will ring a bell, or I will light an incense stick, I will play music, I will do something to stir up the energy in the room. You'll find that if you've been sedentary, if you've been depressed, sometimes the air can feel very heavy, energy is very negative around you. Open a window a little bit so the negative energy has somewhere to go. Ring a bell around, play some loud happy music, run around with an incense stick waving that smoke in every corner. Whatever it takes, whatever you believe in, make it so. Because cleansing our homes is so important. Even if cleansing your home to you is having a good spring clean, it's going to feel so good. And I know it's hard to get into that space of, I'm going to clean. You know, when you're depressed, it is the last thing you want to be doing. Trust me, I know. But it will help so much. So I definitely want to say, cleaning, tidying up, letting that negativity go is so important. Even if it's just writing a letter that's getting all those feelings out, out, getting rid of negative energy, cleansing yourself, having a nice salt bath with Epsom salts, magnesium, that sort of thing. They're all going to do so much to help your mood, to lift you up. And I know it might sound like hoodoo voodoo stuff, and a lot of people don't believe in that. And if you're here just for depression and you're like, what is she talking about? I am a witch, so I do believe in these things. But if you don't, that's okay. You know, just have a good bath and play some Britney Spears on repeat. It's all good and it'll work, trust me. Mindfulness. Now, I am a big mindful person. I honestly think it is the answer to everything. It's changed my life so much. Mindfulness is incredible. I've written a lot of blog posts about mindfulness. I've done a lot of videos about mindfulness. I will leave links to everything down below, but mindfulness, it will change your life. It's incredible. Do some research, read up about it. It's not just meditation, it's paying attention to your thoughts and your feelings as they come up, and paying attention to the things that are triggering you. It could be somebody walked past in similar clothing to somebody who attacked you, or somebody reminded you of a parent who was abusive, or an ex who was abusive, or a past situation that left you feeling helpless and alone. Or it might even just be Christmas as a whole is a big triggering thing. Paying attention to how you think and how you feel at different times is going to make such a difference to your life. Definitely do your research, look into it, and remember to keep practicing. It's not something that just comes. It's not something that you can be good at or comes naturally. I've been practicing it for years now and I still struggle with it. It's something that is a practice, like yoga or drawing. I don't know, but anyway, it's something that doesn't come easy to anyone, but is well worth the effort. Take a breath. It's that simple. The next one is that simple. Just take a breath. Just take a breath. It makes such a difference to just become aware of your breathing, become aware of how shallow we naturally breathe. We don't fill up our lungs all the way, and so we tend to get a lot of stagnant air in the bottom of our lungs. That's why a lot of chest infections and things like that start at the bottom of the lungs. Taking as deep a breath as you can and getting rid of all that horrible yucky air. Very similar to cleansing your home. You have to get it out of you. It will help so much. It is such a simple thing. It doesn't cost any money. It is free, my friend. Give it a try. Just take a breath. And lastly, talk to someone or journal. This one feels like it's an obvious one, but it's actually the hardest thing to do, is to tell someone. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling locked up in your own feelings, if you're feeling isolated or lost, it can be so hard to turn to somebody and say, you know what? I'm feeling this way. I think it's difficult because we have a lot of, I don't want to bother that person, I don't want to ruin their holidays, I don't want to ruin the way they're feeling. And it can be difficult, but I have always found that if I speak out my thoughts, if I say how I'm feeling, if I get them down in a journal, if I tell someone close to me how I'm feeling, it kind of takes the power of those thoughts away. Especially if that person then turns around and goes, huh? But you have this to think about, and that to think about, this to think about, that to do. And it can start to change you into an attitude of gratitude, which is also something that I'm a big believer in and will definitely help. Changing to an attitude of gratitude, talking to other people, they go hand in hand, and it can be difficult. But just writing a list in a journal of things you're thankful for, game changer right there. I will often find that I will sit down and talk to somebody about things, and then I will go and write down or just think about 5 things that I am thankful for. And quite often my mood will change round. Now, these things are not cures. I'm not claiming they are. But when we have a flare, it's important to use every single thing in our arsenal to help. Every single thing to lift us up just that little bit. Just get us up that rung. Just help us just that little bit until we can get through that triggering time. Christmas is so difficult. I struggle with it every year. I know so many people out there do as well. But none of these things are going to cure you. If you need to speak to your doctor in order to get some antidepressants or some tablets that are going to help. If you need to talk to somebody who's a therapist, I often will go to my GP and end up upping my antidepressants or my medications. They will end up referring me for therapy. Those things take time, especially this time of year. Time is of the essence sometimes, and so if we can just use these tools to get through this time when a lot of therapists and a lot of doctors are closed, it's going to be a big game changer. So just remember that. I also want you to keep in mind that you have actually survived 100% of every other bad flare, bad day, bad time that you've ever lived through. You've survived them all. You've got it. You've made it. And you can get through this as well. So definitely keep that in mind. You can get through this. You've done it before. You can do it again. I always keep that in mind, and it always helps. I really hope that this video gave you some tools to work with, some things that are going to help you, that are going to build you up and just keep you moving forward during this really difficult time. If it has, don't forget to head down below and leave it a cheeky little like so I know that you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, so I can bring more content like this to my channel. This is the reason why I make videos, is to help people. And so if this helped you, definitely don't forget to let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you think I've forgotten, anything that you do that help every single time, any toolkit things that you find this helps me or that helps me. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to head down there, look at all the comments, read them. You will get so much from the comments. I have an amazing community here, so I really hope that you will head down below, leave me a little comment, and while you're there, why not join the community, join the Butterfly Famalam. I would love to have you join the family. So don't forget to head down there, hit that little subscribe button, join the family, make sure that you are part of these butterfly times. We are here to help one another during these really difficult plague times. So make sure you head down there, hit that little subscribe button, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm here Mondays and Fridays, my health permitting. I always do my very best to be here every week, twice a week. I really hope that you managed to make it through these holiday times without too much depression. But if you are struggling, don't forget to head to my Instagram or my Twitter. The links are down below. My DMs are always open if you need to talk. And I am thinking of doing a live on Christmas Day so nobody's alone, because we're not going to be celebrating until the day after Christmas Day this year. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to hit this little playlist here. I put this together for you to enjoy, so I hope that you do. Take care, everyone. It's difficult times, but we can make it through together. Take care, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye. Mwah. Oh, I need a nap.